This week's MindEspresso is about changing your relationship to fear. And we're going to explore the book UnFear, a new book by Minukas and Gaurav Bhatnagar. In it, they argue that our relationship to fear matters a great deal. And if we view fear through a positive lens as a signal for growth, then we will adopt attitudes and organizational traits that can be growth-oriented, creative-oriented, possibility-oriented, imagination-oriented, versus falling into archetypes that are unhealthy around fear. So they divide our unhealthy archetypes into two big buckets: the aggressive response to fear that's unhealthy, and the passive response to fear that is unhealthy. See if you see some of your responses or people you know in here in the archetypes. For the aggressive responses to fear, these are people who are trying to, who rally the troops, right? And they fall into four archetypes. The fault finders, they look for anything that's wrong in order to gain an advantage. The controllers who try to micromanage. Competitors who always have to be better. That's their response, that's their way of dealing with it. And perfectionists cross every T, dot every I. Then there are the passive responses that are unhealthy to fear. The avoiders who simply try to avoid the situation at all costs. The minions who are the mini-me's and they will do whatever you ask them to do, but also not a great organizational trait. The sticklers who are looking for everything by the book. And then the likables who focus on being likable as their response. All of these, they argue, are unhealthy responses or unhealthy relationships to fear. And when they looked at healthy relationships to fear, these are the UnFear archetypes over here. The seekers who are always trying to improve. The coaches who are making everyone around them better. The trust builders who set up groups for success. And the achievers, those who set goals that are high goals but realistic goals as responses to fear. And they argue that if we try to improve ourselves, we coach others, we build our groups, and we set high goals, that these are the healthy responses to fear. They share the story of Gandhi in fighting British oppression. And in it, Gandhi argued there was a third way. There was the aggressive group that wanted to fight. There was the passive group that wanted to give in. He thought there was a third way, a way of creativity, a way of possibility. And that ultimately led to the independence of India. And that third way is really the way that Gaurav and Mark are arguing we need to approach fear, that fear is a signal of growth and that we can have healthy responses to fear. Seekers, coaches, trust builders, and achievers, those are the UnFear traits. And that fear is not something to be avoided. Fear is to be embraced as a signal of growth. And that is this week's MindEspresso.